good morning to all of you. A very happy Women's Day. There's this major mix-up about when is the Women's Day. As somebody said, every day can be a Women's Day. So we can celebrate any day. Well, we can celebrate even if it's Shivaratri. Tomorrow can be Women's Day too. I'm told the reason why this got moved differently in India, it's been celebrated. I was actually at an event even yesterday, and I'll be a couple of more events today. So let's celebrate more of them. To me, recognition, rewards, and celebrations are one way of motivating people. And that is a very good way of motivating people. There's always this big challenge in terms of number of awards you give versus the motivation that comes by. I'm told Rajgopal is giving as many as 54 awards today. Well, momentarily one could say there are too many of them. But I guess the other way around of looking at it is that's the way in which we want to bring in more amount of inclusivity in making sure that more people get awards and more people get motivated. So there's not much to be said about involvement of women. There is enough of evidence everywhere in the world that the women participation has helped families, nations, associations, parties, you name them, to prosper. The evidence comes more from the Western world where businesses has prospered primarily because driven by women participation. Certainly, yes, there is a big challenge in developing countries or evolving countries like India. Irrespective of the type of art encouragement Vijayalakshmi Garu talked about, encouragement is what you need to give. Irrespective of the type of encouragement we do, we get very disappointed results at times. We do not sign our entry-level offers, which are in hundreds, at times even in thousands, with less than 30% of women as the entry level. That used to be, say, 10 years back. This year, I believe, we started saying 40% of women who join a company have to be women. But here is, thank you, but here is the challenge that we have. Irrespective of what I'm pushing myself, I started off with a number called 25% is the overall women participation in the company. Irrespective of our encouragement, irrespective of our interventions, where are we today? It's 27% inching towards 28%. So therefore, while we will encourage, it has to come from within you. And I like to share with you that, as I said a little while earlier too, there's enough evidence to say that the women perform several tasks better than men. It's a man saying this. Women perform many tasks better than men for sure. You have better perseverance, you can persist with the task, you have a greater amount of empathy, you can collaborate with people, you can communicate well with people. All these skills are there with you. What is then therefore the reason why it doesn't happen? The reason is the inhibition that you have in you. You typically, we have seen this happening with many women. I think the society also exhibits certain amount of pressure on you. So we are trying to see how we can break them to say that, look, women should not have the inhibition. They should think that they're as good as men. They're better than men. Why do I hesitate to speak at a meeting? Why do I need to have challenges in terms of participation? I think we have to definitely ensure that once the women come out more aggressively into the mainstream, things will happen. At the same token, I am a strong believer that I just do not encourage women for women's sake. They have to be equally competent like men are before we recognize them. And we continue to do that. We have number of interventions that we do. We have interventions to ensure that they become much accelerated in terms of the recognitions. We have today programs for the benefit of people. I am the founder of a company called Cyient. We employ about 18,000 people across the world in 14 different countries. And 27% of them, as I said, are women at this point of time. But we are now trying to run an accelerated program for women in groups of hundreds of them every 9 months. Just to make sure, we give them extra inputs compared to the men for them to accelerate. But I think the problem just doesn't live in the corporate world. It has to go back to our school system, into our college system. So the intervention that we are doing is, at this point of time, we've got about 38 schools in our management under our CSR program. We touch the hearts of 10,000 children every year. When we adopted these schools, the number of girl children were as low as about 15 to 16%. After 14 years of work that we did, the girl child population in the schools is 54%. So in effect, it means if we can get these higher levels of participation of women and take these mind blocks out of them and give them certain amount of acceleration, I think they will do much better than what they're doing today. Because as I started off by saying, it cannot be that we can probably the economy can do well without the participation of women. I was also told, the briefing that was given to me is, lots of women are entrepreneurs also in this group. Let's talk about entrepreneurship. I won't take more than another 2 minutes because I need to run for a meeting too. On telling you about what I believe in entrepreneurship at this point of time. Entrepreneurship to me is not an option for this nation. It is a necessity for this nation. I don't know how many of you are familiar. Today, India has the big advantage of what people call it as demographic dividend. What is demographic dividend? If in the age group of 16 years to 62 years, if more than 50% of the population in a country are in that particular age group, the country is supposed to be enjoying demographic dividend. We actually have 62.5% of India today out of 1.4 billion people are in that particular bracket. Our median age for this nation is 28 years. We have a very young population. But the young population therefore works very hard. They have ability to work. As a result of it, the economies will go up. But then here is the catch that comes by. The catch is when you have young population, you need to get them jobs. You need to get them educated, you need to get them jobs. To give you a flavor, we put 1 million people in the streets of India every month for jobs. If you fast forward it for every 12 months or 10 months, whatever it is for a year, it's 10 million jobs. We are fairly sure that there will be demographic dividend at least for 10 more years, which means we have a need for creating 100 million jobs or 10 crore jobs. So that's the challenge we have on one side. But we've seen entrepreneurship just doesn't create jobs itself. It helps you in creating innovation. It has helped us in terms of earning foreign exchange, so many other things. But I like to share with you as in my last point, for entrepreneurship, time could not be any better than what it is today. Why is this? The environment is so positive. The amount of interventions that we are seeing from the government is humongous at this juncture. So if you're an entrepreneur, refine your service offerings to ensure that you become successful because there's so much amount of incentives the government provides. If you want to become an entrepreneur, the timing could be good, especially I can't stop from talking about technology is at its best. Mankind has seen technology for ages. In the first industrial revolution, you saw steam coming by. The second industrial revolution brought in electricity. I won't talk about third, fourth, and fifth, but we saw automobiles, aeroplanes, and so on and so forth. But then the later part of the 20th century, when computers came by, along with internet that has also come in, and several more things that are happening, we see enormous amount of acceleration to our lives. The way in which we behave, the way in which we think, the way in which we act is completely different. The whole world has become digital. I saw the Union Bank manager. I don't know how many customers you get to your bank, madam, at this point of time. The footfalls have disappeared. I haven't been to a bank at least for about 5 to 7 years now. And not only that, I think, I can do ordering of what I need in maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds. That's what it takes. So our life will change as technology is changing our life, but you should now realize one other thing thereafter. Because of this change brings you opportunity. So my last message to all my good women friends here today is that we are very proud of you. Please make sure that you participate more actively. Please become entrepreneurs to create more amount of jobs. Thank you.